My boyfriend is going to get me fired and he's playing the victim card. My boyfriend and I both work from home. I was leaving a voicemail for a client and he walks into the room I am working in. Not even a second after I stop talking, he starts doing dirty talk and talking about his genitalia. The voicemail did not give the option to play it back or delete and re-record. The line was still on after 30 seconds and I'm 100% sure you can hear him talking about his dick in the voicemail I left. The client did not call back today, but now I'm scared. I've had this anxious feeling all day waiting for them to call back. I don't feel like I'm exaggerating. After the incident happened I told him that what he did is disrespectful and that my job is at jeopardy because of what he said was left in the voicemail. He apologized, but said that I was making it sound like he did it intentionally. At that point, I didn't care. I said intentional or not, he shouldn't have did it. I would never go into his office when he is on a Zoom or voice call and start talking about my vagina. It's the fact that he played the victim. We didn't talk for hours after that because I was working. We usually stop by each other's space and chat. He texted me towards the end of my shift and said he fucked up and got wasted. I found him in his office and was pissed. Not only is he going to ask for pity, but he knew we had plans to go out to dinner. He couldn't wait 3 fucking hours. It's so upsetting that someone can be careless at all about them. My fiancé called me disgusting, for hoping I was pregnant. I've been in a relationship for 7 years now, we are high school sweethearts and he proposed at year 3. No schedule yet for a wedding, we decided to postpone until we could afford a house. It's been 4 years since postponing it and no house yet. I have been begging for a child this year and I've gotten aggressive after a passing of a close family member. I feel like my family is dying before they can see my own family. So far in the last 2 years, 4 family members of mine have died. I feel stuck and alone. My fiancé works the night shift so I rarely see him. I love him. I wanted to start a family so eagerly. I wanted him to be the father. I was on birth control, IUD, and it ran out, so I have to still get it replaced. He knows I'm not on birth control, so after the funeral I was at a low point and craved the feeling to be adored and wanted. We had unprotected sex and he didn't pull out. In my head I thought finally after 7 years I'll get a baby. I'll start my family. I have something to say to my family when they ask how life is going. Because during the funeral all my older family members asked me about my life, if I want kids. If my boyfriend wants kids I say boyfriend here because I corrected one Andy and she asked about the wedding date, can't give her one cause postponed. My grandmother asked if she could see my kids before she dies. I felt like I had nothing to show for my life. So I was very excited about a possible pregnancy. The next morning I went out with my fiancé and we talked about the night before. And words were exchanged. We have been having fights already, and he said, "You will not force me to have a child over and over again." Then he told me, if I force him to have a child, he will kill the child and then me. After he said I knew I shouldn't have hoped for a good day. It was weird that you're this happy. You're just happy over being pregnant. This is why I don't touch you or fuck you because all you want is a child. That's fucking disgusting, but what's wrong with being happy with starting a family with that guy I love? I work full-time, clean, cook, support his decisions and still crave sex. So I'm confused as to why he wouldn't want me. I'm hurt he said those things to me. I just don't think he see me as his future anymore. I just wanted love and affection, but after him calling me disgusting, I don't want him touching me and I can't even look at him. After this he tried to say that he does love me and does care. And yes, he wants to start a family with me one day, but he needs to be ready and I cannot force it. But even with him saying that, there's only one thing in my mind, which is that's fucking disgusting, so in my head it means I'm disgusting. Because I was happy about a slight chance of a pregnancy. I've been married for a month, and I despise it. It's the worst decision I've ever made. I don't want this. I don't like my husband as a person, I've realized. We got married quickly, less than a year after meeting. Our marriage was a month ago. I moved across the continent to be with him. So, we never had the chance to live together before that. Everything about him annoys the fuck out me, to cut right to the point. He whines constantly, has tantrums when he doesn't get his way, exaggerates to his friends to look cool, has a cringy sense of humor, doesn't respect my emotional or physical boundaries, has horrendous taste in media in terms of all music, movies, art, etc. This list could go forever. He is in his 30s and myself late 20s. I found out just before the marriage I'm his first girlfriend beyond a hookup. I've tried time and time again to bring up these grievances and it's just not working out. He is truly insufferable in a way that I never realized before living with him. If I tell him I'm just tired and need some space right now, he starts fake crying and pleading for me to hang out with him. Like, incessantly pleading. And fake crying. I will explicitly ask him to stop and he will, fake, but he thinks it's convincing, wail in my face. The moment I say fine, crying instantly gone and he smiles like a little kid. He will then gaslight me and say that I wasn't being clear and he couldn't understand what I was asking. We only have one vehicle and if I go somewhere to clear my head or drive without explicitly asking, he blows up my phone about how he's gonna call the cops. I can't have any female friends in this new city, new to me, I mean, without him incessantly trying to set them up with his creepy best friend. I'm too tired to be nice. The guy is an ugly, weird, Trump-supporting loser. The sex is pitiful at best. He neglected to tell me he'd only had sex 3 times before we got together. Turns out everything I had been told pre-marriage was an exaggeration. His parents are fucking insane and overbearing, and live 20 minutes away. I'm so fucking miserable. I hate this. I wish so badly every single night that I could press rewind. I'm so emotionally drained. Fuck me. I know it's all my fault for marrying the guy. I know that. In my defense, I didn't realize how fucking horrible it would be. He wasn't this bad before. I feel like I'm babysitting, not married. I found a deceased person and I can't stop thinking about it. I go for walks with my son almost every day. We take pretty much the same route along a biking/walking trail. We ended up taking a break from the walks due to the heat wave here that lasted like a week and a half. The last time we went before that, I saw a tiny, blue, one-person tent between 2 pine trees about 15 feet off the trail. It was slightly see-through so I could tell there was a person in there. I could see that they were laying down and I could hear them making moaning sounds. I could tell by the voice that it was a man. I wasn't sure what to do, if I should have asked if they were okay, but being a small woman with a 1-year-old baby, I was concerned for my safety, so I just kept walking. Well, the heat wave came the next day and I stopped going for walks during that time. After it passed, we resumed our walks. The first time back out there, I rounded the corner and I saw that the tent was still there, along with a very strong odor. I stopped dead in my tracks to see if there was someone in there. No movement, no sound, but I could see that there was someone laying down, just like last time. The only movement around the tent was flies. Flies everywhere. After a second, I could hear the buzzing. I could also see a brownish substance creeping up the fabric from the bottom of the tent. I knew what happened. I knew that whoever was in there was most likely deceased. I called the local non-emergency number to report it and then I waited. I don't remember how long I waited for someone to show up, but it felt like forever. A police officer was the first person there. He asked me a bunch of questions and looked inside the tent. I don't know how he didn't vomit, because the smell intensified threefold when he unzipped it. I couldn't see in from where I was standing and I'm grateful for that. He confirmed that yes, there was a deceased person inside. He gave me his contact card and said I was free to leave. I didn't stick around to see what happened next. I didn't want to. I just wanted to be back home and forget what I saw. It's been almost a week since that day. The problem is, I can't stop thinking about it. I keep thinking about how horrible it must have been for that man being homeless, alone, and suffering out there on his own. I don't know if he was sick or if he just succumbed to the heat. I keep wondering who he was and what happened in his life that got him to that point. I wonder how many people passed by before I did, but just ignored it and kept going. It's not uncommon to see homeless people in my city, so most of us just keep walking and pretend we don't see them. I feel terrible for having such a complacent attitude. I try not to think about it, but every time I do, I can smell it all over again. Even that day, after leaving, I swear the smell was embedded in my nose or something. I have no idea how long he lay there dead and rotting or how long he lay there suffering before that. I don't know what to do. I feel so terrible that he had to go like that. I feel terrible that I didn't ask if he was okay that first time and didn't ask if he needed help. I'm not really a religious person, but whoever he was, I hope he is at peace now. I'm leaving my wife because she's pregnant. I have 2 beautiful, amazing children. They're everything to me. But the stress nearly killed me. My mental and physical health were in the gutter. I was hospitalized several times. I am finally in an okay place, although still stressed. I have been trying to get a vasectomy for about a year but my insurance is being an asshole about it, so I've had to save to get it out of pocket. It's been a journey. I do actually have one booked for the end of September. I cannot tell you how excited I was. And then my wife excitedly told me she was pregnant. I was not excited. I cried. I freaked out on her. I told her she needed to abort because I will not go through it again. She is insistent that we'll make it work, which is what she said when we had our second. I barely made it. I will not do it again. I told her if she keeps the baby I will leave. She said I wouldn't. We're getting divorced. I have already moved out. The kids are so upset. But I just can't. She's begging for me to come home. I told her that she knows what needs to happen. She doesn't want an abortion. I do not want a 3rd child. So what do we do? I know this is my fault. We had very minimal the deed but when we did I didn't always check the rubber after to make sure it hadn't broken or something. I figured it was so rare, and we barely had the deed, so it wouldn't happen to us. Alas, we are here. I don't know what I'll do. I know I cannot be in the house when the baby comes. I can't cope with infants. Child support, I guess. I don't want to be the shitty dad that sees 2 of the 3 kids. But I cannot risk another episode. I hope she makes the right choice here. Having this baby will bring nothing but bad things.